Well, Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach. This is a Shabbat evening. It is also, for those of us who are Reformed Jews, Simchat Torah, the celebration of the completion of the reading of the Torah and beginning all over again in the beginning of Genesis. So it is still a holiday. We don't actually eat in the sukkah right now, but it is still a holiday. So I'm going to light the candles. Joni is not here now. So let's begin. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedeshanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat v'shel Yom Tov. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach. Happy Simchas Torah. Let's sing together how good it is, how sweet it is that we are here together. Hine Matov. And you'll find this on page 10 or 128. Hine Matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, hine Matov. Yala la 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 la. Hine matov, hine matomov, ya la 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 la. Hine matov umanaim, ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Hine matov umanaim, ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Hine matov umanaim, ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Hine matov umanaim, ya la 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 ya la 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 ma. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Page 24 or 142. Let's welcome the Shabbat angels. 24 or 142. Shalom aleichem malachi hasharet malachi Elyon mi melech malchei hamelachim hakadosh baruch hu. Boachem l'shalom malachei hashalom malachei Elyon mi melech malchei hamelachim hakadosh baruch hu. Baruch hu ni l'shalom malachei hashalom malachei Elyon mi melech malchei hamelachim hakadosh baruch hu. Seichem l'shalom malachei hashalom malachei Elyon mi melech malchei hamelachim hakadosh baruch hu. We come together as a congregation for the Baruch Hu, and we're going to find this on page 146 or 264. Please stand up and join with me. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Baruch hu et Adonai Hamevov Ramach. Baruch Adonai ha-mivorach, ha-mivorach, le'olam va'emed, ha-mivorach, ha-mivorach, le'olam va'emed. Praise Adonai, to whom praise is due forever. Praise be Adonai, to whom praise is due now and forever. If you're standing up, you can sit down now and turn to 147 or 265. Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and years vanish, but your sovereignty endures. Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. 6 lines from the bottom in Hebrew. Umavir yomom, umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila. Adonai tzvaot shemo, elachai v'kayamam, tamid yimloch aleinu, tamid yimloch aleinu, leolam vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Amariv Aravim. As always, we thank God for the gift of Torah, the gift given with love, and especially today when we're going to celebrate the ending of the reading of the Torah and beginning it over again. Turn to page 148 or 266. In each age, we receive and transmit Torah. At each moment, we are addressed by the world. In each age, we are challenged by our ancient teaching. At each moment, we stand face to face with truth. In each age, we add our wisdom to that which has gone before. At each moment, the knowing heart is filled with wonder. In each age, the children of Torah become its builders and seek to set the world firm on the foundation of Torah. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amamo, Yisrael Gadmel. We focus on God's presence with us right here, right now, at this moment. Page 149 or 267, we cover our eyes for the first 6 words of the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Together, hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. The commandment to love God, the V'ahavta, 150 or 268. V'ahavta macha et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavecha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meotecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher Anochi mitzavecha hayomom al levavecha Bishinantam vademecha v'dibartabam Bishivtecha b'veitecha uvelechtecha vademerech uvishochbecha uvekumecha ukishartam liot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvishe'ar benecha L'man tishkeru vasitem ekom mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim le'Elohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני Adonai Elohechem. Let's read together the translation. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God. The Song of Freedom, the song we sang 3.5 millennia ago when we left Egypt, and we are required, it's a mitzvah to remember that every day and remember that God redeems us and lifts us up every day. Micha Mocha 152 or 270. La 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 mi chamo mocha ba'elim adam vonai mi kamo mocha nedar bakom vodesh norat hilot omos sefer malchutecha ra'uvanecha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam ze Elianu v'amru Adonai yimloch Leolam va'avemed v'nemar kifada Adonai et Yaakov ugealo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael. Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Who is like you, O God, among the gods that are worshipped? Who is like you, majestic in holiness, awesome in splendor, working wonders? Praised are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. A prayer for peace. This is 153 or 271. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence, we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai hapores sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai hapores sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael. V'al Yerushalayim. V'al kol amo, v'al Yerushalayim, shalom. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo, Yisrael. Shabbat is a special day, and it's especially special because this is Simchat Torah. So we'll read 154 or 272 in English, and then we'll sing together, Vishamru. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, And on the seventh day, God ceased from work and was refreshed. V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam brit olam beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti liyavavov olam Beni uvein b'nei Yisrael oti li'olam ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'yet haaretz uvayom hashvi'i shavalavat vayin nafash Lai 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 la lai lai I lai 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 Yai lai 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 la la lai 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 Yai lai 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 Yai lai 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 Yai lai 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 Yai lai la mai. In a few moments, we'll start the silent prayer. There is a special prayer for festivals, including Simchat Torah. If you have the big book, you're going to find that on page 468, and it goes all the way to 493. If you don't have this book, you can still pray the first few pages of the small book, 154 to 157, and then continue with your own prayers. Please include a statement to God of the joy you have that God in love has given us the Torah. And stand up for this and say your prayers. And when you've completed your prayer, please be seated. Continue silently if you're still praying. If not, if you know this, sing it with me. If you don't, you can just listen or you can hum along. this song comes from actually from the Torah reading at the very end of the book of Deuteronomy, which if we read the Torah, we'd be hearing this. It's Torah Tziva Lanu Moshe. The Torah was commanded to us, given to us as a connection to God by Moses. Morasha Kehilat Yaakov. It is an inheritance. It's a gift for the congregation of Israel, and it's a nice upbeat song. Torah, 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 Tziva Lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva Lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva Lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva Lanu Moshe. Morasha Kehilat Yaakov, Morasha Kehilat Yaakov, Morasha Kehilat Yaakov, Torah Tziva Lanu Moshe. Lai la 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 lai la 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 lai lai yai lai yai lai 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 yai la 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 lai la 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 lai lai yai lai yai lai la lai yai lai 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 lai. Torah, 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 Tziva Lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva Lanu Moshe. Well, as I mentioned, today we celebrate Simchat Torah. Now, if we were in the temple, we would take out the Torahs and we'd have hakafot, which are parades. We'd parade around the temple 7 times, and we'd be singing a lot. Traditionally, children are in the parade, and you have flags and you wave them, and it's real raucous. And also, you dance in between the hakafot and in between the parade. You take the Torahs and you dance around. As I've as some of you know, it is traditional for me to do the Kazatska, which is a dance move. You get down, squat down, and kick your legs out. And anybody who's watched me do the Kazatska, or Jim Needell or Mark Epstein who do it, if you're a break dancer, you just weep with envy because it's an amazing move. Unfortunately, Dr. Jim and Dr. Mark are not here, so I can't do the Kazatska with them. But if they were here, I would, I'd try. I'm a little old, but that's another thing we do. And one other thing we do is to enhance the celebration, we have some whiskey or vodka or something to drink, and we say L'chaim to the Torah. And so actually, I'm going to do that right now. It's good to drink and to celebrate, to show respect for the Torah, but not too much. And if you have a problem with alcohol, don't drink it at all. But if you don't, take a shot and give l'chaim to Torah. And Shehakol niyeh bidvaro, that's the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Shehakol niyeh bidvaro. All right. So, a couple words of Torah. In Pirkei Avot, the 5th chapter of Pirkei Avot, it says, Ben Bogbog says, that's my favorite name in all of Jewish tradition, Ben Bogbog. That was really his name, Yochanan Ben Bogbog. And so anyway, here's what he says. Turn the Torah over, continue to dig deep into it, for everything is in the Torah. Look deeply into it. Grow old and gray over it. Do not stir from it, for you can have no better lot in life than to do that. So a couple stories to comment on this. So Rabbi Elchanan Wasserman talks about everything in the Torah, and he gives the following metaphor for that. If someone's friend tells him that his face is dirty and another friend tells him that it is sparkling clean, How can he know the truth? By looking into a mirror. Likewise, when one has doubts in life, whether spiritual or mundane, he should use the Torah as his mirror, allowing him to gain a true and realistic perspective of his own situation. Thus, whenever one is in doubt, the rabbi counsels him to look deeply into Torah, for through it he will view all of life with clarity and objectivity. So I think the Torah doesn't necessarily give you the answer what you need to do in every situation. It allows you to see yourself clearly. It allows you to see things clearly. And in so doing, you have the strength and wisdom to be able to figure it out. Torah doesn't have all the answers directly, but it can help you by strengthening you and by giving you wisdom and by teaching you to look at things the way God looks at them, because that mirror back to you helps you to see things in the way that God sees you, objectively and compassionately. Now, many psychologists have suggested that the reading of really good, serious nonfiction can make us more empathetic. Not everybody agrees with those findings. It may be that people who are empathetic already read serious fiction, but it may be serious fiction helps you to become more empathetic. But I would hold, I think experience tells us, although we don't have scientific studies of this, that if you read Torah with humility and with open-mindedness and with a desire to see yourself and see your situation clearly, reading the Torah can give you that objectivity and compassion and the ability to be empathetic so that you understand people better and you can make good choices. So it's no wonder that, and here's a second thing. This is from the Vilna Gaon. He suggested, if you're ever in doubt about any major decision, study the Torah until you feel sincerely that you are learning for God's sake. Then think about the problem. Whatever you decide to do at such a time, that's going to be direct. So I think that when we're at a cross in the road, when we have to figure out something to do, read the Torah. And again, the Torah may not give you the answer, but it'll put your head and your heart in the right place. Now, I know that not many people, including not many Jews, are in the custom of studying Torah. And that's a shame because, even if you are a Reformed Jew who doesn't necessarily accept doing all the rituals, Torah study is just a really, really good thing to do to lift your spirit and to improve yourself. But, sometimes it's hard to do, ironically, because it's countercultural. Like I wrote that I sent out recently, building a sukkah and living in it. Not many people do it, so you feel like, oh, I'm kind of weird. And if you study Torah, that may seem a little weird too, because so few people do it. But I would recommend that. I would say study the Bible, or study Pirkei Avot, or study Jewish ethical literature, Musar, or study biographies of people who really lived good lives. Pick something out that appeals to you, that speaks to your heart, that you like, that'll help you to learn more and to see things objectively. The Chafetz Chaim talks about the problem that not everybody studies Torah. Not many people do, actually. And here's his metaphor for that. A city dweller invited his country cousin for a visit. The city dweller took his cousin on a tour and showed him the wealth and plenty of the city's shops. The visitor saw large stores with sacks of flour piled to the ceiling, fabric stores with cotton cloth filling the shelves to capacity. Then he saw some other shops that sell silk, but there were only a few shelves that held merchandise. In the silver store, even fewer shelves were full. And finally, he saw shops that sold gold and diamonds. There, all the merchandise was contained just in a few boxes. The rest of the store was empty. When the country cousin went back to his village, people asked him what he saw. He began praising the large store with sacks of flour and rolls of cotton, and spoke disparagingly about the half-empty stores. A wise man interjected, "Foolish country bumpkin, don't you realize that one small box in the gold and diamond shop is worth more than all the merchandise in all the full stores?" Likewise, concluded the Chafetz Chaim, the few people who study and support and live Torah in times like these are like the gold and diamonds. They're few, but they're valuable in God's eyes, and more so than people who may waste their lives. So, yeah, it's not popular all the time. People may say you're like a holy roller, or why are you doing this? But I do think studying Torah with the right attitude, looking for the ability to make good decisions, to become a better person, to become more empathic, is a really worthwhile thing to do. And I hope you'll do it. We're going to turn now to the Misha Beirach prayer. You find that on page 253, or in the big book 371. And we especially want to remember in our congregation Danny and Judy, and I want to remember Rabbi Steve and my friends Steve and Lisa, and my clients Sylvia and Stephanie and Beverly, and everybody else who needs health and healing. And you as well, please hold in your hearts the name of people that you love who need health and healing. Misha Beirach Avotenu Mikor HaBeracha Le'imavotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Beirach Imotenu Mikor HaBeracha La'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Let's turn now to page 282. 282 for the Aleinu. Please stand up for this. In the big book, it's 586, and we sing together at the bottom of the page. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, lateit gedula liotzer boishit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. We just praise the sovereign of the universe and proclaim the greatness of the Creator, who set the Jewish people apart from other families of the earth, giving the Jewish people a destiny unique among the nations. We've said this prayer in Hebrew, and we've bent our knees and we've bowed down, acknowledging the supreme sovereign, the Holy One of blessing. Page 285 or 589. Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. Oh, may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever. We pray all people will come together as one, worship God in their own way, but with sincerity and with unity. And we express this hope, the middle of 287 or 591, the Ne'emar. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yiyeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Page 294 or 598, the Mourner's Kaddish. We want to remember the following people who have yard sites. Saul Cohen, Myrna Greenspan Dopeat, Evelyn Schaller, Dorothea Ray, Eusebio Villamore, Mary Katz, Jenny Bloom Nachemson, and Ada Shemnitz. We especially want to remember our dear friend Mark Roush. As a community of mourners, we recite the Mourners Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah. V'yolama divra chirutei, v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechon uvyomechon, uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'gala uvizman kariv, v'yimru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam ul'olamei olamaya. Yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, Shemei D'Kudsha Barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, dam yiran b'yolama v'yimru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya v'chayim. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Oseh Shalom bimromav. Hu Yaseh Shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, bring peace to all Israel, bring peace to all people everywhere, to which we say Amen. We don't have challah today, but we do have wine. And of course, I did have a little alcohol before then, and now I'll have some wine. And there's a special kiddush for the holiday. And if you have the big book, you can find it on page 386. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher bachar banu mikol ha'am, v'romem banu mikol ha'sham, v'kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav, v'titen lanu Adonai Eloheinu be'ahava, Shabbatot limnucha, U'modim l'simcha, Chagim u'shmanim l'sason, Et Yom HaShabbat hazeh, V'et Yom HaShmini, Chag HaAtzeret hazeh, Zman simchatenu mikra kodesh, Zecher l'tziat mitzrayim, Kivanu v'acharta, V'yotanu ki davashta mikol ha'amim, V'shabbat u'moadei kodecha, B'yahava u'ratzon, B'simcha u'sason, hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, Mikadesh HaShabbat v'Yisrael v'Hazmanim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech olam, Shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lama b'zman hazeh. And in this prayer, we thank God for giving us the mitzvahs in love, for giving us Shabbat, for giving us this holiday, a special time of joy, for taking us out of Egypt, and by giving us the requirement to serve God with joy and love. And we thank him for the special time, and we show our joy and our appreciation by drinking a little bit of wine. Bim, bum, bim, 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 bum. Bim, 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 bum. Bim, bum. Bim, 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 bum. Bim, 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 bum. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Bim, bum. Bim, 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 bum. Bim, 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 bum. And one other song coming from the Torah. You remember this from last week. This is on page 359 and 663. This is, it means in English, you shall rejoice in your festival and you shall have nothing but joy. 359 or 663. V'samachta v'chagecha v'hayita ach sameach v'samachta v'chagecha v'hayita ach sameach v'samachta v'chagecha v'hayita ach sameach v'samachta v'chagecha v'hayita ach sameach. Lai la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya 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 lai lai lai, ya lai lai lai, ya la 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 mai, ya lai lai lai, ya lai ya lai, ya lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai lamai. Final blessing. If there's somebody you want to bless, put your hands on their head or shoulder, or somebody who's not here with you, send the blessing out. And if you're receiving the blessing, listen attentively. And if you're giving the blessing, repeat after me. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and watch over you. Ya'er Adonai Panav Elecha V'yichuneka. May God's face light up towards you, and may God be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai Panav Elecha V'yasem Lecha Shalom. May God's face be lifted up towards you, and may God grant you peace. Ken Yehi Ratzon. So may it be God's will. Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach. Have a sweet, safe Shabbat, and have a sweet, safe celebration of Simchat Torah. God willing, we'll see you next week. Chag Sameach, Shabbat Shalom.